Many artists, creatives, friends I know who do creative work cringe and hesitate at the idea of sharing their creative work because they hate the idea of self-promoting. Listen, I get it. I hate the idea of self-promoting too, but I worry about my friends who do creative work because they're doing good work that is meaningful and valuable. A lot of these same friends want to grow in a creative career. A lot of them would love to find ways to make income from their creative work or just feel deeply compelled to share their creative work with the world, but we're just getting hung up on this whole self-promotion thing. I think what we need is a different way of thinking about what's happening when we're sharing our creative work. I think we need a different mental model. And I was thinking about this not that long ago, and I wondered if we get stuck in this idea of self-promotion, because the truth is that all of us, whenever we first start sharing our creative work, that's where we get our start. We have to start with a sense of self-promotion. I'm going to explain that here in a minute. But then we really need to, if we want to grow, we have to mature beyond self-promotion, and we have to start having a different understanding of what's happening when we share our work. Let me just give you an illustration from my own life, because I think it'll really help you see and understand what's happening when we share our work with the world, and how we do start with self-promotion, but how we need to move beyond it. So when I was young, I took piano lessons, and if you took any kind of instrumental musical lessons, then you know that what comes with lessons, especially as a younger kid, are recitals. And you know what? I had recitals. And my family came to my recitals and they listened to the music that I played, even though it wasn't very good. They clapped, they applauded, and they acted interested, even though they didn't love the music. It wasn't that interesting. It was honestly really boring, and I wasn't very good. This was not something that they would have come to apart from the fact that they knew me and they loved me and they wanted to support me. Well, then, years later, when I was 17, I had been writing some of my first songs. I was excited about them, and I decided that I wanted to rehearse a band, and I wanted to put on my first concert and share my songs with people live for the first time. So I did that. I held a concert in my youth room at my church in small town Texas, and a lot of my friends came to that concert to support me, even though they had no idea what the songs were going to be about. They had no idea what to expect. I don't even know if they really liked the songs or they liked my music. They didn't know if they were going to like my music, but they came to the concert because they were supporting me, because they cared about me, and because they loved me. And so all of that was me putting my work out into the world, and was a sense of self-promotion even as a little kid. Hey, come and hear me. All of us who do creative work have to get our start in this way. We make something, we share it with the people that are closest with us, and the people who love us are the ones who watch and listen and engage patiently with the things that we're doing. One of the hard truths we have to face as creative people is that most of the world doesn't care about us. Most of the world doesn't care about the things that we're creating. At some point, we have to stop self-promoting. When we share our work with the world, we have to stop saying things like, come to my concert, or come hear my new song, or come check out my new painting, or come read this new story I wrote, or this new blog I posted, or watch this new video I made. All of that, all of the messaging in there is very self-promoting, and it's all about, hey, come and engage with this thing because it's something that I did, which is something that I was doing when I was 6, 7, 8 years old, asking my family to come to my recital, and they did. But if I want to reach an audience beyond my friends and family, if you want to reach an audience beyond your friends and family, then we have to grow out of that, and we have to start to understand why people might enjoy the things that we are creating. Why do they resonate with it? Why is it beautiful to people? Why is it valuable to people? Why is it able to connect with certain kinds of people? We have to take time to really evaluate our creative work and find out why it's valuable to a certain group of people, and then lean into that and know that when we're sharing our creative work, the messaging we want to use and the mentality we want to have is that we're trying to connect with people who really love the work for the work's sake. They really love the work because the work is beneficial to them in some way. It's valuable, it's meaningful to them, and we're putting it out into the world not because we're trying to promote self, but because we're trying to offer this creative thing that we have to offer to people who would really love it. If we get stuck in this cycle of self-promoting and we only think about sharing our work in terms of self-promotion, then the truth is that it's going to be really hard to reach people beyond our friends and family. And even if we do reach people beyond our friends and family because the audience is finding value in our work, if we're not attuned to what that value is, then we're not effectively sharing our work. We're not effectively presenting for people why they should be engaging with our work. The trick to marketing and sharing your creative work is to begin to understand why people would love the work that you do, why they're served by it, why they find value in it, why they find beauty in it, why they find a sense of connection in the creative work that you do. And that's really what makes for good marketing and good sharing of creative work, is when we can really hone our message and say, hey, instead of come to my concert, it's, hey, come and experience this thing. Hey, if you like sad songs, this is the place for you. Hey, if you like this kind of a story, this is the place for you. Hey, if you need photos taken for a certain kind of a thing, here are some photos that I take. Maybe I could come and take photos for you. The whole bent is not self-promotion. The whole bent of the messaging is, if you like this kind of a thing and you find it valuable and beautiful, then you might enjoy the work that I'm doing. And so I'm putting it out into the world. And what you want to do is you want to get to a place where people are thanking you not only for the creative work that you're doing, but they're thanking you for sharing it because they find a lot of value in it. If you can do that, then what happens is over time, as people gain genuine interest and see genuine value in the things that you're creating, they actually do come back full circle and they tend to attach to you as a person. They tend to be more engaged in all of the things that you are creating as a creator. They tend to become a deeper and deeper fan and a supporter of your work, not because they just know and love and care about you at the beginning, but because they have so fallen in love with previous work that you've done that they now trust you as a creator. At this point, hopefully you're breathing easier. You have a lot less fear in the idea of sharing your work, and you're starting to see that this actually could be fun because you're sharing something that is meaningful to you with people who also find the creative work that is meaningful to them. And that creates connection, and that's where sharing your creative work gets really fun. But you might also be asking, but how do you do this? How do you find out how your work is valuable to other people? How do you find the audiences that might really enjoy your work? And that's a really good question, and it's something that I want to talk to you about in the next video. So for now, you'll just have to wait and be patient. Just brew on all of these things I'm talking about. Let yourself breathe easier. Get excited about sharing. And tomorrow we'll talk more about how to share your creative work. So until then, I'll see you in the next video.